This video is sponsored by Tokyo Treat. So we got the 1094 full summary, just cutting straight to that this week. And this is the most excited I've been reading spoilers in quite some time. Like maybe over a year because of what happens in this chapter. And I'll just cut straight to it because I'm sure most of you already know that we see the Gorosei Saturn's devil fruit in this chapter. Something we've been talking about for months on this channel. Maybe most of this year, possibly. And it delivers. Like, oh my god, it's so exciting. I cannot wait to see what this looks like. But let's get into it. And of course, we got to start from the beginning. So the chapter starts with all pacifistas obeying Atlas's orders and attacking the Marines. Bonnie is fighting the Marines too, and she uses a new attack called Near-Death Experience. She fires a gun at the Marines and they hallucinate with their own deaths. After that, Bonnie faces two vice admirals. One of them is the man with a long chin and mustache. His name is not revealed in this chapter, and he's wielding a long staff with a huge seashell at the tip. And the other vice admiral is the old lady named Bluegrass. She ate the Nori Nori no Mi, allowing her to ride and control everything she rides. Bluegrass is riding one of the pacifistas, so Bonnie can't do anything against her. So yeah, I guess this is taking us in from the end of the previous chapter, where we saw Atlas and Stella Vegapunk successfully regaining control of the pacifistas after making it successfully out of the barrier in that Vega Tank 8 thing that they're in. And we also saw that Bonnie was there after Sentomaru had saved her, but she was kind of just watching from a distance. So I guess she's just coming in here and fighting these two vice admirals here. And her new attack, I don't know why she's able to do this. So far, we've only seen her manipulate age. But, you know, as time goes on with this series, Oda likes to make the Devil Fruit abilities more nuanced. And I understand, you know, you can't just stick with the same fundamentals you developed in like 1997. Like, you have to advance some things and bend the rules a little. Sanji jumps down the Vega Tank 8 and saves Bonnie just in time. A magical circle with a 5-point star and a number 5 symbol suddenly appears in the middle of Egghead, along with fire and black lightning explosions. There is an announcement from the Marines saying that Saint Saturn is on the island. Marines with Rear Admiral rank or below must not look at Saint Saturn directly. However, one Marine makes eye contact with Saint Saturn and his head explodes. We can see Saturn clearly. The lower part of Saturn's body is a spider, like Black Maria, with a flame-shaped pattern. Saturn's beard and hair become like flowing clouds. He too has a black cloud wrap over his neck, like Lucci and Kaku. His face looks human, but Saturn's nose is more wide, and he has 2 big horns and his hat. It seems he's using his hybrid awakened form, but it's not confirmed in the chapter. Neither is the name of his devil fruit, but Saturn looks like an Ushi Oni or a Gyuki, which is a yokai from the folklore of Western Japan. So that is it, and that is so cool and exciting. Oh my god, I can't believe Oda delivered like this. Like, I was just expecting Saturn to just, you know, be strong, to have a transformation or whatever, whether it was going to be a bison or an ox or whatever, as we speculated about before. Because on one of those previous colored cover pages, we saw Luffy and the Straw Hats going against like this bison in a football game. Bison or an ox, whatever it was, and it had a scar just like Saturn. And we were comparing that to the silhouette that we saw at the Reverie. And I guess that was more or less accurate. I mean, I haven't seen any panels of this yet, guys, so bear with me. I don't think anyone has yet, you know, unless other than like read on. But this is amazing, and this is ostensibly the strongest devil fruit, at least from an entrance that we've ever seen, right? I've never seen a devil fruit have an entrance like this. Like, usually you transform and then you become whatever you become. But this has like a whole demonic ritual going on with it. But it might be like so big it just goes over the entire island maybe. But the fire and black lightning explosions, that's amazing. And of course, we got to talk about it. Anyone with Rear Admiral rank or below can't look at him directly. And then when a Marine does make eye contact with him, his head explodes. Oh my god! We've never seen a devil fruit this powerful massively strong before. And I guess that means that this is for sure one of the strongest devil fruits. And it goes back to another thing that I've been talking about for a while on the channel. And it's that I think that Imu and the Gorosei had first pick of the devil fruits. Like when the devil fruit trees were planted, if that is, where they come from, it's not confirmed yet. But, popular theory, I guess, is that we have at least 3 trees. Sunlight Tree Eve, which is presumably at Merijois, and we have the Whale Tree at Zhou, and then I speculate, along with many others, that the Adam Tree is probably at Elbaf, and it's likely that the devil fruits came from those trees, and I think that Imu and Joy Boy and maybe someone else were the ones who planted these trees back in the day, and Imu and the Gorosei kind of just, picked all the best fruits, or made sure that they got all the best fruits. Maybe they killed people who picked the ones that they wanted or whatever, But that's why we haven't seen, wild fruits like this before up until now. It's because they've kind of been hoarding them. And it also made me think like, wow, this kind of reminds me of Kaido's devil fruit. Because Kaido's devil fruit would certainly be worthy of a Gorosei at this point, right? And I'm thinking like, it probably was going to be given to one, or at least somebody close to that status. Because Kaido's devil fruit was found at God Valley by Big Mom, right? And God Valley was where celestial dragons were hanging out. There was like some really important stuff going on there. It's also possible that, considering that God Valley no longer exists, Imu used the Mother Flame, aka, possibly Uranus, to destroy it, meaning that it was really important. Further going into it probably being really important. But I digress. So from this description, it seems like we're looking at a Minotaur-esque version of what Black Maria is, I guess, right? Something like that. Obviously, we don't know his abilities or powers yet, but we do know that if you're not as strong as a Rear Admiral and you look at him, your head will freaking explode. Oh my god. Now I just want to see what the other Gorosei fruits are, as well as, of course, Imu's fruit. Because Saturn probably isn't even like a big deal amongst the Gorosei. So just imagine what Imu's fruit could be. And it also really puts into perspective, or at least makes me think that the Gorosei are probably old. I mean like old, like from the Void Century. And that they probably are the strongest. And that Kizaru being here is more of a formality or just a convenience. It's not like he's protecting Saturn. It's more so he's kind of just there so Saturn doesn't have to get his hands dirty, I guess, even though he is. Because we've been seeing Saturn getting annoyed these last couple chapters. And as soon as the Frontier Dome barrier came down, he just jumped in. Like he was itching. But first, let's talk about the sponsor of this video, Tokyo Treat. Tokyo Treat is a monthly pop Japanese snack subscription box where you'll get up to 20 of the latest, most exclusive, limited edition, and seasonal flavored Japanese snacks that are only available in Japan for a limited time, like Sakura Pepsi, Japanese sake Kit Kats, ramen, and many more. It also comes with this awesome booklet that gives you information on all of the snacks in the box, as well as information about Japan and its culture. This month's box is Halloween Snack Haul. Celebrate Halloween with Tokyo Treat's limited Halloween box that is filled with Halloween-inspired snacks like Kit Kat Sweet Potato, Pokemon Halloween Choco Pie, and Koala March Halloween. So first I tried the Palinki Mentaiko corn snacks. Apparently these are corn snacks that have a light Mentaiko or pickled Pollock Roe flavor, and these are so uniquely tasty. Next, I tried the Kobe Japanese Cola. This was a really refreshing cola, and it was less carbonated than the kind that we have in the States. Really enjoyed this one. I also tried the Halloween Jelly Bean Gummies. A lot of really great flavors on these. Not overly sweet, and it struck just the right balance, and it had some really nice ginger flavor. And I also tried the special Japanese Kit Kat that we always get with Tokyo Treat, and this month it's sweet potato, and this was so good. Don't let the sweet potato throw you off, because they turn that flavor into some of the best tasting candy I've ever had. So guys, if you're looking for an awesome Halloween gift this October for you or someone else, use codes TREATS23 to receive an additional Trick or Treats mystery snack, and there's up to 8 of them. Thanks guys. But anyway, cut to Luffy versus Kizaru, and Luffy and Kizaru are panting. Kizaru says he can't stay fighting or else he won't complete his mission. Then Kizaru flies away with super speed to attack Vegapunk, and Kizaru shoots lasers at Vegatank 8, but it misses. However, Laser destroys the Cloud Road, making Vegatank 8 fall to the ground. So yeah, we're getting more of Luffy versus Kizaru here, and we're seeing that they're both panting. You know, they're both getting exhausted. And also, Kizaru's mind is definitely not focused on Luffy here. He's clearly trying to complete his orders and take out Vegapunk at the same time, and I like this. This is like a way to protect Kizaru, and maybe even Luffy too, because I think Luffy is the heavy hitter here. Like, he has more physical strength than Kizaru, if that makes sense. But it doesn't mean that he's necessarily overall better than Kizaru at this point. Like, Kizaru obviously has the better gas tank here. He has more stamina than Luffy. Like, later on, Kizaru is going to point that flaw out. But just also Kizaru not being completely focused on the fight is a way to not have like a definitive outcome here. And to protect them, like I said, because they're not going all out 100%. So you can't have like a true definitive winner, or even like a definitive opinion, I guess. Oda trying to make it cloudy. Suddenly, Saturn's voice could be heard all over Egghead Island. Saturn says, "Pacifista, stop!" And all the strong characters in the island, Luffy, Kizaru, Zoro, Lucci, Sanji, Jinbei, and the Vice Admiral suddenly stop because they feel an unusual aura. So yeah, like I was saying, this is different. Saturn is at like a different level of power that we really haven't seen yet. I mean, we've seen close to it, but this is really showing a display that we've only really seen out of like Kaido, but this even goes above that in my opinion. This is like on the level of Shanks. Like, I'm pretty sure Shanks could do something like this and make all of the quote-unquote strong characters in the vicinity react to it. So I think the Gorosei are on the level of Shanks at this point, just taking a guess, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're probably even stronger than him. But this is really exciting. It's taking us to the final level of the power scale in the series, or approaching it. The final level is for sure once we see what Imu can do. But, you know, like the Holy Knights and the Gorosei and Shanks, like those characters are going to take us into what the end game power scale is going to look like, and it's really exciting stuff. After that, Luffy versus Kizaru continues. Luffy catches up with Kizaru, and Kizaru says that form is already at its limit, right? Luffy hits Kizaru with a new attack called Gum Gum White Star Gun, or Gum Gum White Star Gun. Luffy's punch goes through Kizaru's face the same way as Kaido and Onigashima, but this time the attack creates many star effects, and Kizaru says, "Oh, this is bad." Both Luffy and Kizaru fall to the ground together, and Saturn looks up at Luffy while he's falling down, and he says, "Nika." Luffy turns to an old man form when he arrives to the ground. So that was wild. So as I talked about earlier, Kizaru is pointing out that Luffy is gassing out here. Luffy has always kind of had this issue with his gears. Like, he quickly gets to a point of diminishing returns, or he'll just have a time limit. He can't maintain the form and he'll just gas out. And I understand why Oda does this, because he would be too powerful if he didn't. So the stakes have to keep raising. And it also gives us something to look forward to, you know, like him improving his stamina. Like, I'm sure before we see Gear 6, Luffy will be able to fight in Gear 5 indefinitely. And I'm just guessing we're going to see Gear 6. I think we kind of have to, right? And it also goes back to what I was saying about protecting both the characters with Kizaru and Luffy. If Luffy gasses out, along with Kizaru not being focused, it keeps them both looking strong. Because I don't think it's necessarily Kizaru's time to get beat down yet. Even against Gear 5, I mean, he's definitely not winning. And he is getting pushed. The furthest we've ever seen him get pushed in the series. But it's not really his time to get, like, beat down like Lucci did, if that makes sense. And then also, Saturn looking at Luffy and saying Nika. And the way that he says this here, it makes me think that he's reminiscing. Like he's seen Nika, quote unquote, before. And it goes back to another thing I was saying, is that I think the Gorosei are old. And I know me saying that's funny because they are old, like they look old, but I'm saying like old, ancient. They're ancient. They're like 800 years old, maybe even older than that. I'm thinking, because, you know, Saturn's saying Nika, and the original Nika was Joy Boy, and I'm pretty sure Saturn knew the original Joy Boy. Just taking a guess. Nothing confirmed, of course. But now Luffy turning back to an old man, he is vulnerable, of course, and I really wonder how long they're going to have Luffy out of commission here. And also, this is a great way for Luffy to not be able to fight Saturn. I'm pretty sure that's the main reason for this, other than protecting Kizaru, is protecting Luffy from Saturn. Because at this point, man, I don't know. I'd probably put my money on Saturn going against Gear 5. And it doesn't mean that that's always going to be that way. Like I was saying, Luffy still has to progress and get better at Gear 5. He just developed it chronologically. But anyway, in the final double page of the chapter, Saturn is facing Bonnie, Sanji, Vegapunk, and Frankie. Bonnie remembers something from her past, but we don't know who the people are that say the words Bonnie remembers. In Bonnie's memory, she hears, "I gave the order, Vegapunk. There must be no consciousness remain. But if you do that, Kuma will." After that, Bonnie jumps and stabs Saturn's chest with a sword. Some blood flows from Saturn's chest. End of chapter, no break next week. Sweet. So this is a pretty cool face-off here. I wish we got to see more of this in the series. I want to see multiple characters take on strong guys. Like, I know that we got to see a lot of it with Roof Piece, and that was great. But I'm saying keep it going. Single matches are great too, but I don't know. I just love seeing team-ups like what we're seeing here with Sanji, Vegapunk. I'd love to see some Vegapunk tech on display, Frankie and Bonnie. And I'm thinking that the Gorosei are going to be possibly some of the Straw Hats' final opponents. And Venus, aka Samurai Gandhi, is probably going to be Zoro's final opponent, or one of them if it's not Mihawk, you know, before or after Mihawk, you know what I mean? And I'm thinking that Saturn might be Frankie's final opponent because of the science stuff. But Bonnie stabbing Saturn in the chest and making blood come out, I don't know what to make of this. Maybe it's not what we think. Maybe Saturn just let it happen because on paper, Bonnie should, you know, be no match for Saturn. I mean, like, the Reverie made me think that the Gorosei were capable of just completely killing Sabo cleanly, like, by themselves. Like, they didn't need to all gang up on him. That's what the impression I was getting. So if they could do that, I'm pretty sure they could destroy Bonnie. So I don't know what's going on here unless we have a rare instance of the Gorosei being just like Orochi, where they're essentially just weaklings with the best devil fruit. I hope that's not the case. The Gorosei do have battle scars, so we'll see what happens. I'm thinking that this is a misdirect, and that maybe Saturn even wants Bonnie to cut him. Maybe it starts some kind of blood demonic ritual or something. I don't know, but let me know what you think about these spoilers in the comments, guys. And if you liked the video, please give it a like, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.